Hello and welcome to another episode of DCU Daily, and I am back by popular demand, as it seems. For those of you who missed me, well, here I am. So let's today talk about. I have to get back in the flow of things, It's like when you're hanging in the back, like you kind of get used to not speaking. But now here I am, and I'm not used to listening to my voice 5 days a week anymore. But those are Dan problems. To talk about DC problems and good things as well, of course, as always, I've got with me John. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Had a doctor's appointment today. Doctor was like, "Hey, you're pretty good, but like you're also like too fat." And I'm like, "That's fair." And then that was pretty much the end of it. So, you know how it is. But
Yeah, I can
outside of that,
that experience.
I'm
Yeah.
outside of that, I'm all good. I'm watching, more horror movies, doing more personal projects on videos and that kind of shit, but outside of that, I'm doing okay. Doing okay.
Yo, okay, cool. Well, Casey's in the chat. He's like, yo, yo, yiggity, yo. Yo, cool. All right. Hi, Casey. Hi, hello,
Where's your
Dan.
Sunshine Band? Where are they? That's a
Dude, I
that's
really,
that's an old school reference there for all you people older than like 35. So, hey, if you get it, you get it.
Mhm.
Anyway.
I'm sure there's a few of us in the chat who pass that age bracket. But as far as today's news, I mean, I really wanted to be on the show yesterday to kind of react to the whole crypto news because it's
Yeah.
rare to see something where like that being announced directly by James Gunn and not have it be some kind of deadline article or the Hollywood Reporter or some insider or some scooper talking about it. And yeah, of course, not only did he announce that crypto is now going to be officially in Superman, which we had suspected for a while, even seeing a dog on set, as well as, of course, there were being hints that there was a character, whether it was CGI or not. Of course, Mr. Terrific interacting with a dog of some sort on set
Yeah.
in Cleveland. So now we know for sure. And yesterday, after making that announcement, James Gunn continued answering fans' questions on social media because, of course,
As he
once
does.
of something, like we all want to know all the details. Like we want to know, okay, where does crypto go to take a shit? How fine or coarse are crypto's hair? Why, how many years does he have? What exact breed is crypto? um, you know, just what's the psychological, state of, their relationship with Superman, and does Lois know about crypto, and has he eaten Mr. Terrific's face off at some point in the movie, or does he shoot lasers out of his eyes, or I don't know. Does he have the same dog problems as other normal dogs do? Or, like stuff like that. Like all of those questions, I'm sure, were thrown at James Gunn's way. And he,
Yeah.
as like you said, as he does, he likes to answer fan questions across his socials. And so today we kind of like put all of that stuff together and decided, let's go through some of that information, shall we? I'm sure some of you guys have already gleaned this information across the interwebs, but Threads was one of the places where he was answering these questions, and then everything DCO on Twitter, or X as it's now known, picked up on it. So the question was not to be that guy, but isn't crypto supposed to be something akin to a Labrador or something similar? Like, and that's what I thought initially, right? Like when we were talking about it in the summer, we were like looking at those set photos, and John, you were talking about the idea that in the comics he's not really the breed of dog that we were seeing on set, and so of
Yeah.
course we were asking the same question, and James Gunn said no. Well, crypto is historically a generic white dog. Sometimes also a lab, white shepherd, husky, or Dalmatian. But obviously, he's an alien. So this is the key information. He confirms that crypto in the DCU is an alien dog. So he
Hell
wouldn't
yeah.
necessarily be exactly any of those things. Now, of course, he doesn't say that crypto specifically in the movie is an alien dog, but he does imply it by saying, "Oh, but obviously he's an alien," as in, in the comics he's an alien. But I mean, I guess that we should assume at that point, like he's inferring that the crypto in the movie is also an alien dog. So, what do you think that means for crypto? Do you think that means crypto is gonna have powers in this movie, or is he still just gonna be? He's just a dog. He just happens to be one from Krypton.
I mean, it would make sense that he has powers. It makes sense that like if he's going out of his way to say yeah, he's an alien, then like why wouldn't he? He can't just be like a dog. Like he's just like, oh, he's a dog, but like at the same time he's just also an alien. He's an alien like I don't know. That just sounds it's just like if you're just gonna have a dog, then just have him be like a regular dog. If you're gonna have him be from Krypton, give him the whole shebang. I want to see the heat vision, like him like ripping off like him like ripping a chew like him like I don't know instead of like having like a little small like ball as a chew toy, it's like actually like the size of like it's like a bowling ball is like his chew toy because he can't have like real chew toys. So like something like that. Like I want to, he has the strength, he can fly, he can, do all that shit. So that's what I want to see. Yeah, I mean the closest we have to good Star Wars movies post 1983 is probably the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So it's like, yeah, that makes sense. I want an
Dude,
alien. Well,
I love Jay Kelly's comment. I'm like, he's sitting on the moon. He better have powers, Lilo. I'm like,
yeah, like,
I was gonna say,
because if he didn't, that dog would be dead.
yeah.
And we don't want a dead
Uh,
dog here. We don't want him to
yeah.
go John Wick on anybody. So, you
Was it
know,
Clark Wick? Was the name coined
yeah,
yesterday?
Clark Wick. Yeah.
Manolo's in the chat. Hello, fellow reprobates of the chat. Oh, okay, I don't know what that word means, Manolo, but that's the word of the day now. Reprobates. We got Magical Sky Wizard, Jay Kelly, Fiona C. We've got Antonio Baker in the chat. Casey, of course, was the first one to drop in the chat. Thanks all to everybody for joining us. I mean, I would love to know what kind of powers Krypto has exactly, because that would be interesting. I mean, is he going to shoot lasers out of his eyes? Is he going to be able to fly? Will he wear a cape? I would love to know. I mean, these are all good questions that James Gunn better have an answer to, or at least we will get it in the movie. But it's fun to see that. I mean, it's because if you look at recent Marvel history, we have seen a lot of alien animals, right? Of course, Rocket Raccoon is engineered, as we now know, based on an actual raccoon. He sort of embraces side of his history and personality in the last Guardians movie, but also you have throughout the movies, you've had other examples. And of course, across the MCU, you had like those alien cats, right? The million alien cats in the Marvels. So it wouldn't be the first time that we see like, okay, he's a dog, but he's not from Earth. So wait, so like there was an evolutionarily speaking, dogs evolved on Krypto. I mean, I guess the humans there look the same as the ones on Earth, except they're way more powerful. So I suppose you can also have dogs in the same line of thinking. So it works. Like, logically speaking, it works. Oh, why Arc9? We haven't seen you in here for a while, but welcome back into the chat. And yes, we will get into the Creature Commandos trailer news. So we will talk about that in a bit, Arc9. So definitely going to talk about that. Now, there, of course, some other news as well. Or another question that he was asked about, does Krypto talk?
This man loves talking animals, and then he's like, no, he doesn't fucking talk. Like he just
unless
barks.
you include barking, yeah. So we know. Okay, so if you're checking boxes, we know that Krypto's an alien. We know he most likely has powers. But, of course, the artwork implies that they're sitting on the moon, which is based on an amazing, comic book panel itself. So that's great. And we also know that he doesn't talk. So yeah, I mean that gives us a lot more information than we had 2 days ago. I mean, is it groundbreaking stuff? No, but it is good information to have. How do you think this affects the story of the movie? Do you think Krypto is going to play a big role in the film in terms of, is he just there to be Superman's, best friend? Or, I mean, of course he has Jimmy Olsen, his human best friend, but is he his furry best friend only, or is he going to have a role to play in the plot of the movie itself? Because I'm starting to like really get more of the more of this official art, not artwork, but official images of the movie. We've had 3 so far. We got this image of Superman, right? We of course before that we had the logo just by itself and maybe the Fortress of Solitude, and then we get this image. Now between those three official reveals from James Gunn, I'm starting to get a really good sense of the kind of world they're showing here, and it seems so different from um like any superhero movie that we have seen in recent times. Certainly Superman movies, right? Like not even just Man of Steel, but even Superman Returns looks so different from what this feels like. This feels very much like a comic book come to life. So do you
Hmm.
think Crypto's gonna have a bigger role in this movie, or is he's there in the background and maybe he's there in those slower moments, but when the action picks up, it's mostly just gonna be Superman?
I would like to see him during at least one action set piece, and Mr. Terrific with the dog treats and like all that. I think that would showcase in a good way of like, oh yeah, that's the one action set piece he's got. Maybe not too much. It might be a little bit. Yeah, in the recent comics he couldn't, because in Rebirth he needed a special device to breathe his face. I don't know. I just felt it was like, all right, you already have a guy who's a fucking alien who's like powered by the sun. It's like just fucking make him breathe in space. Like really, like that's where you draw the guy who flies can punch planets like fucking billiards. But no, he's breathing in space. That's too far. All right, yeah, sure. But I like how they do that, and I like how yeah, I prefer him as a bigger dog. Not like it really matters because like all dogs are great. Um, so it doesn't really matter, but I would have liked to seen a bigger dog, like a husky or a lab or something. I can't bring my dog up here, but I would love to see like something like that. Of course, you got to bring Zelda in. I can't bring my dog in. Hold on, I'll get a picture of her though. Hang on. Um, I would have preferred
Only
like a
appropriate
bigger
for the
dog.
episode, right? Yeah, yeah. Oh, look at that. There we go. Zelda, do you want to be a super dog? I don't know. I don't know if Zelda. I bet if Zelda wanted to, she could fly. She could totally fly. But
Hmm.
yeah, I would love to see again, like you said, and maybe at least one scene where Crypto is there to help Superman out, or like they kind of team up a little bit, get in on the action together. That would be fun. It's fun to see. And yeah, I think those plushy toys would sell out super fast. Definitely, Nelson. Great point. Antonio talking about David Cornsweet has lined up a new film. He's going to be playing Mr. Irrelevant. I saw that today on X. I thought this was that he was. I thought he
There
was
she is.
told they
Oh,
were talking
can't
about my
really.
quarterback Brock Purdy.
Yeah. I'm just trying to show my dog. That's all. Hang on. I want people. I want the people to see my doggo. There she is. There she is, chilling on the driveway. There she
Hey,
is. And her
he's so
name's Ruby. There
cute.
she is. She's a little shit, but
Oh,
I love
look,
her dearly. You
look.
know.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, she's really cute.
Yeah, it just it's yeah, it's all just like dumb shit where it's like it's gonna be a fucking child, it's gonna be cartoon, gonna be. But like I remember some guy like, oh, this is gonna be release it on Disney Plus in the kids section. I'm like, y'all are just so fucking like got like blinders on of like what, because the great thing about comic books and the great thing, and to a lesser extent superheroes, is like they can be any genre. They can be like so many different things. Like you put V for Vendetta, Logan, and Spider-Man Homecoming back to back to back, and it's just like one's a conspiracy thriller, one's a neo western, and one's a coming of age story. It's like they're so different, and those are two of those were by, I mean, three different companies, yes, but like two of them were under the same like label, and then you have V for Vendetta, and it's just like I don't get like this like this character can only be one thing and one thing forever, and it's just like I don't know. I think that's kind of tiresome. I think that's kind of lame. So, I don't know. I feel like my dog would be more Homelander than Superman, but like, I mean, I hope, but um,
I don't know
what?
what that means.
Decongestant, like as in like
I guess
nose your sinuses?
medicine. I was gonna say. Do you mean to say like deconstructing superheroes? Is that what you meant, Hunter? Because I think you might have misspelled the word. Like maybe deconstructionist superheroes. Maybe that was the comment.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, dude, like Casey, I'm excited about Mr. Terrific and Jimmy. Like these are because these characters we haven't really seen in movies before in a way that would be, of course we had Jimmy Olsen for a scene in Batman v Superman. And Mr. Terrific we saw in the CW, but like we really haven't seen like big cinematic iterations of those characters. And of course, even Krypto. Um, Krypto, this I believe one of the things I had pulled up. Let's see, where is it? Oh, I'm jumping across a little bit. By the way, James Gunn put out these. If you haven't been on his threads, go check out his threads. If you want to use this image as like your phone's screensaver or your home screen, like they're right there. iPhone screensavers, perfect. And again, just the comparison of like the comic book panel versus what James Gunn posted, going to show you again how this is really staying close to the comics. And then what I was getting to earlier is this would be the second time we're going to get a live action iteration of Krypto, right? So they had one, of course, in Titans, which John, you weren't a fan of, but I'm just saying,
I
like,
mean, I like how he looked. Like that was like kind of the vibe I liked for Crypto. Like I love the breed they got. I love the look of him. He looked great. Too bad the show sucked and pretty much everything else about that show sucked, but he looked great and he was
yeah,
a good boy. You know what? No matter what, he was a good boy. So
I agree. I agree. Buster Barnes, like, hey, thanks for joining us live. We love your comments. I mean, we keep going through your comments. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section, but of course, having you live on the show, that's great. Of course, we have also Hunter Iggy in the chat now, right, dude? Miraculous joined in. Everybody's in here in the comments. Manolo saying my dog is already has a superpower. The spleen from Mystery Men. The good one. Yep, yep, yep. But Buster Barnes asking John, how do we think Krypto gets to Earth with Superman and Supergirl? This was something
I'm
that was being talked about, and we're gonna get into
yeah,
that as well because we did pick out some comments from you guys.
we
But go ahead.
did, and there's a lot of different ways you can do it. It doesn't make sense to have him be with Supergirl because I don't think Supergirl is going to appear in this movie. At most, it'll be a post-credit scene. Like, I don't think Supergirl will appear in this movie. It just doesn't make sense. So, there's that. And it doesn't make sense for him to be with Supergirl. So I think, um, you know, like maybe like because who knows what the origin of Kara is? Because originally Kara Zor-El was like on Argo City, which was like a chunk of Krypton that like survived. So she could be there, and then like that gets destroyed and she goes to Earth. I don't know. There's a lot of different versions and a lot of different ways you can, you know, do that. So who knows if it's but it seems like the like since with New 52 and Rebirth and all that, it seems like the way they do it is like she got sent first and then Clark, well, then Kal-El, and then she gets like trapped somewhere and doesn't get to Earth before him. And then he gets to Earth first, grows up, and then she comes to Earth, which, whatever. But like, it doesn't with that, like, it doesn't make sense because we have Krypton and Superman in this. So it just feels weird that like, oh, he would be Supergirl. Doesn't make sense to me. So I think if he were to be with either of them, um, it would be with Superman, or they do back what they did in like the Silver Age. They had it be like it was a test to be like if the journey was safe, and then he got to Earth, and they're like, okay, the journey's cool, he's okay, but he didn't get there until afterwards. But it was like okay, it was like okay, he can survive this, and then they did it. So I would like to see that, especially with the vibe he's going for here. So I would like to see that like kind of more Silver Age because that was one of his inspirations. So I like that a lot.
Yeah. By the way, I also came across this animation. I mean, great work by the fans. Again, just getting ahead of even where James Gunn might be in post production and putting this together. And you've got that iconic car, from the comics, Action Comics one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean the style of flying here, it looks very similar to Man of Steel, the way that this is shot. And but then you of course have that very iconic that we've seen in every Superman movie, Superman going around the Earth in orbit, and the logo. It's just starting to it's starting to come together. I'm really loving how all the pieces are starting to come together, right? Like
All
that's
right.
really
I
the big.
finally did it. For the first time in a while, I changed my lock screen. There it is. I decided to change it to the I decided to change it. Hopefully I don't get it something inappropriate. But yeah, there it is.
It's
Yeah.
perfect. That, and you guys can all get it. The James Gunn posted it on his Threads account. I mean, you don't even need to have a Threads account. You could just go to the James, just search for James Gunn on Threads, and you'll see it on his feed, and you can download the image. And miraculous, by the way, Buster Barnes saying he has done the same, indeed, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing the same. I, for one, have got another dog that occupies the space on my phone, so um, I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it 100 with Zelda here. She's gotta be like. Let me show you the one that I've got on my phone. I get rid of all the notifications. This is my screen, right, Zelda? Yeah, this is you right here. Look, it's you.
She's like,
She's not.
"Shut up. Give me food, man."
But Miraculous has a good point, John. What do you think about the role that Krypto is going to play, not only in just potentially Superman, but also Supergirl,
Yeah.
Woman? Well, do you think this character transitions into that movie naturally? Is he going to be set up
I
in this
think
story
so. Like
forward?
whatever if they stick to the comic book storyline, like she wants to get drunk on a red planet, okay, fine. Red sun near a red sun, then cool. If they're like slightly tweaking it for whatever reason, then awesome. Um whatever it is, I think it would be really like nice where he's like, okay, I know you're technically like he could be like Takara because I feel like maybe he'll be in like the opening Woman of Tomorrow or like the post credit scene here. I don't know. Whatever they decide to do, I think it would be really like nice and cool. Be like, hey, I know you're technically older than me because you were a teen and I was a baby when we got shipped off from Krypton or whatever the origin will be in this case. But it's like I feel like as a duty, as because like I need to like stay here on Earth to make sure it's safe, but like so it makes me feel better, makes sure that you're extra safe, extra careful. uh, Bring Krypto with you. So I think that that would be nice to like say like, you know what, I know you can handle yourself, but like it would just help me a little bit more. And I think you could use the extra backup here. Like here, Krypto, help her out, and I think that that would be really nice. So I
Yeah,
think they could make that segue pretty easy.
yeah,
Or she could just have him. Like they don't have to explain it. Like it's like already in her adventure. Like that's when the movie starts, and she just has him, which you don't need like a long-winded explanation. It's just like whether Superman gave it to her, or she's like, I'm taking him with me. I love this dog. I need help. Gimme. And who needs a reason to have a dog with them? They're a dog. They're awesome. So like, whatever it is, I just think that that would be a nice interaction to have between Superman and Supergirl. Like, even though she was technically older than him, now he's older than her. So he's like, now I have to be protective of you, in a familial sort of way. So yeah.
yeah. Lusario Trainer dropping in the chat. We've got the Bunny Dojo Rabbit Karen Bun Fun. That's a long name, but it's a fun name, so I'm gonna say the whole thing. And Miraculous, adding to his point earlier, introducing Krypto and Superman first, like you said, and then giving an audiences a chance to fall in love with the character before Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is very clever and very smart on their part, because also that means you're most likely gonna see Kara Zor-El make at least a cameo in Superman, which would be lovely. I would love to see how like that will then tie into the next movie, because of course a year from Superman we get Supergirl.
Mhm.
It's just going to be a natural transition. By the way, speaking of Hunter Iggy, I don't know if this is relevant to what you said, but about like deconstructing superhero characters and what Zack Snyder and Frank Miller were talking about. But I just was scrolling across X and all the reactions to Crypto being in the movie, and it's just funny. Like some guy just posted, "This is Zack Snyder's Crypto," and then the
No,
reaction.
he wouldn't. He wouldn't have. He wouldn't have a cape. Like, what would happen is, like, he would, like, brutally murder people, and then halfway through the movie, no, not even halfway, no, it would be the end of act 1, he gets brutally shot in the head for no reason, and then uh, he just, he just goes Clark Wick on the people who killed him, and then that's the whole movie. Yeah.
I just love the comments. The two comments on the right are perfect, right? One of them is like, "This is me." I'm like, "Okay, as a Snyder fan, this is funny." Like that's me. And then the comment below that, "This would go hard." I'm like, that's the exact opposite end of the Zack Snyder fan spectrum.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's perfect. And then this was another one. This is great. I loved some of the artwork. Again, we were looking at a video from some of the fans that put together an animated sequence of Superman flying. This is Boss Logic, of course, one of the best artists on the internet. They put together a
Yeah.
lot of fan art. They've even made some real movie posters. Like heads have gone, and the studios have gone and hired Boss Logic to do some work, and he put together a really cool poster. You see a bird, you see a plane in the air, then you see Superman right there, and you see Krypto right next to him, and you see the reflection in the water. It's amazing.
I love the top comment. This shit is so magnificent.
Need this movie right now. And then of course Snyder would never. I'm like, why does every comment have to like include Zack Snyder?
Because it's so low hanging.
It's
That is making a Snyder joke is so low hanging fruit. It's in hell. Like the devil could pluck that low hanging fruit. It's set so low. So you know what? You gotta make a joke at this point. Like, yeah. And I like the S in the sky, all that. It looks great. Boss Logic, thanks, man, or woman, or whoever you are. Okay. Insert thing here.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Yeah.
Did you say the keyword? I didn't say the keyword. It's yeah, that must have been you, John.
Yeah.
What is that stuff Snyder and what is Zack Snyder posting about? I don't know. Did we miss something? Am I missing something here?
I
Uh,
don't
he's on,
I don't give a flying fuck what
I don't even know if Snyder
Zack
is.
Snyder posts.
He's still on Vero. Like he's still trying to get that off the. I mean, no offense. I mean, Vero must be a great platform. He's one of his biggest defenders and fans and users. Um, Dude, yeah, Manolo's like Crypto gets hurt and it unleashes Supergirl's inner John Wick. I would love to see that. That would be, and nobody in the audience would be like, we can't, like just do it. Like you hurt Crypto, like it's on now. That's literally what the first John Wick is all about. You killed his dog, like you deserve to die, and that's literally the most simple thing. Like I'm like the genius of that movie, and now you got Crypto in the movie. Nobody can hurt Crypto, right, Zelda? If anybody does anything to you, I'm gonna go after them. Yes, I will. Snyder's Crypto fixing to be the damn savage dragon. It's great. Love it. I love it. Lusario, why is he writing all these articles about Batman having sex instead of Rebel Moon 3? What is going on with Zack Snyder? You some
I
spoil
have no fucking clue
what
what is going
yeah,
on here. I really don't.
like Buster Barnes is like, yeah, he was writing something about Batman's sex life. Dude, I mean, come on, Zach. Like
He
we
wanted to see him get raped in person. That's all I know about Zack Snyder and Batman's sex life.
yeah, that's we'll let Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
That's sorry, I'm getting a lot of corgi glitter all over me. Oh. So let's talk about this, by the way, John. So
Yeah.
earlier we were mentioning that there's of course New York Comic Con is this week. In fact, New York Comic Con is going on today, right? It started off today and is going into the weekend. So if you guys are in New York, if you're attending, let us know. We know that Liz, who's been on the show the last couple of weeks, and she'll be back next week. She is at New York Comic Con. She's gonna be there. She is there, and there's a lot of panels. DC has multiple panels, including they've got like this whole interactive fan experience called the Belle Reef Prison. Like it's literally you can go in and experience, a lot of what I guess the show is gonna be like. Of course, the show is animated, so I don't think they're gonna animate you, but you can go
They
about.
could try.
They could try. But John, what are your thoughts on again just how they're putting this show front and center? It's an animated show, but it's the first official DCU anything, and they're giving it the same treatment that like a big movie or not like a Penguin got.
Get people to fucking watch this damn shit, like
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's the appetizer of the DCU.
Exactly.
It's not the entree, but it's the appetizer, and it's like they're getting like the comic book fans, like, hey, if you really want to like get into the whole reboot of it, then watch this show, and I'm all for that.
Yeah. No, I would love to hear from any of you guys who are at New York Comic Con what that experience is like. The Belle Reef. By the way, who asked? Somebody in the chat asked about like when is this trailer dropping? Oh yeah, miraculous. Krem is gonna be such a hated villain after he goes after the dog. Oh yeah, but he better not get him. I don't want him to. I'm like Krem. Oh, Lenny's in the chat. Hi, Lenny. Hello. Your nemesis is back on the show. I have returned. They tried to keep me away, but they could only try for so long. I'm back, Lenny. So sorry. But yes, Lusario Trainer mentioning in the chat, we will get a full trailer, right? So that we'll get a full trailer. We got a teaser trailer, and we got a teaser trailer already for Future Commandos, but now we're gonna get a full-blown new TV show at New York Comic Con. So they're gonna release the trailer on Saturday when they have the panel. James Gunn is gonna be there, Frank Grillo's there, a lot of the other Steve G is there, Alan Tudyk is there, like a lot of the big voice actors from the show are gonna be at that panel. What are you looking forward to the most, John, at this panel on New York Comic Con?
I mean, I'm looking forward to that trailer. Most definitely. I can't wait to see that. Like, and I know we've gotten like I want to see more Frankenstein. I think because we didn't get a ton of him in the first trailer, so I'd like to see more of him and how his inclusion is, because he didn't like seem like a part of the team for some reason. So I would like to see. So I would like to see.
I don't
Okay.
I don't know, Casey. I'm okay.
Probably because here's the thing. Because then that would have been like the real big screen introduction of the DCU. Nobody would have gone to see it because it's animated, and it wouldn't have been like to have the like true introduction be Superman makes more sense. Creature Commandos, that's for TV. That's for like the super hardcore fans. Sure, they hope it does well, but I think like keeping that to TV makes sense. And maybe they just didn't have enough budget to make it a full animated movie. So, I think that was a good move. I personally think that was a good move.
Yeah. I mean, I love the teaser. Like, I thought it was a great first look, but I definitely could use a little bit more about, like, what is this show actually about? Like, what is going to be going on in this show? Of course, I don't want them to give away any surprise or spoilers, like, in the Penguin, what happened in episode 4, nobody saw coming. So if there is something like that in this show, I don't want that to be revealed ahead of time. And but I'm still open to seeing surprise announcements. I mean, James Gunn is going to be there. I don't know if there's going to be like a Q&A session that is going to happen during the panel, and if it is, then James Gunn better be prepared to answer all kinds of questions about Superman. So yeah, I mean, my expectations are really high, and I'd love to hear feedback from people who were at the Comic-Con about what that Belle Reeve experience was like, because this is literally the first time DC Studios has a presence at any con, right? And they're expected to be at CCXP as well, so they're going to be setting a new precedent. Like, what is DC Studios presence going to be like at Comic-Cons now? So, and how does that compare? I mean, of course, Marvel did their thing earlier this year, so they're like, how do we...
Fuck them. This ain't Marvel time. This is DC time.
By the way, Casey's saying if DC released all the other animated films in theaters over the years, they could have made billions off these cheap shits. I don't know if they would. I mean, they released like The Killing Joke and a couple of other things in limited theatrical runs, but none of them would make the kind of money that, like a live action cinematic universe movie would. Even, a DC League of Super Pets didn't make a ton of money. I mean, the Lego Batman movie made some money, but like it's animated movies are
Well,
hard.
and the fact that the Tomorrowverse like stopped being good after like the fourth movie. So like it was like you had Man of Tomorrow, which was like really good. Then you had Justice Society World War II, which was pretty good. Then you had Long Halloween, the two-parter. Both were pretty great, and then it just fell off. I heard Legion of Superheroes was. I watched Beware My Power. It was okay. They included way too much, and it just was all over the place. Then I've heard the rest. Like I heard Legion of Superheroes, War World, Crisis Parts 1 through 3 were all terrible. I heard all of them were like really bad. So it's like, all right, maybe it was probably not a good idea to release those in theaters.
Yeah, it's. By the way, Buster Barnes, I hope that this show, Creature Commandos, is not like one of those shows where we get 3 episodes of story and then 2 fillers. Like, I want every episode to be something significant, right? And then for a show like this, where you have like a dozen different characters, you can set up so many things that you can then follow up on in either future seasons, or you do spin-offs, or you then bring these. Of course, some of these characters we already know are going to be in live action stuff like Superman, like Peacemaker season 2. So I'd love to see just how that's going to evolve as well. And just to answer Lenny, oh, okay, Lenny, you don't hate me anymore. Oh, okay.
I
I'm not.
think Lenny just likes to tease you. It's
Yeah,
fun. So it's like, all right, let's give him a little bit of teasing. It's
that's
okay.
right. That's right.
You gotta be one step ahead. That's all.
He wants to. I get it now, Lenny. I see. We're playing the same game now, so it's on.
I heard it was like, because the thing is, everyone expected the Super Pets movie to be like the worst thing since Cancer, and then everyone came out of it like that was fine.
It was okay.
Okay.
It wasn't as bad as Despicable Me 3 was. Like Despicable Me 3, I was like,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
that's a low fucking bar, though.
I,
Like,
I mean, the second and the first 2 Despicable Me movies were good. The first Minions movie was also not very good. But I mean, the point is, again, like animated movies are not like guaranteed hits, right? So like, I know when you
yeah.
guys were in the chat that you would have liked to see Casey. I think you wanted to see that like as a theatrically released film, not a TV show, Creature Commandos. But there's no guarantee that's gonna work. I mean, what's the new animated project that they recently announced, John? Was it the not the Deathstroke one, but the Dynamic Duo.
Dynamic Duo.
So, and that's going to be an animated feature film. Like now that movie will probably, I mean, if it does well, it would make over 500 million. That's great, but I wouldn't imagine that movie is going to make $1 billion. Like, it's highly unlikely. There's very few movies, especially the first movie in a series, that makes like an animated movie that makes $1 billion. Like even like the first Toy Stories didn't make $1 billion. I mean, Frozen, the first Frozen didn't make $1 billion. The second one did. So you have to, like kind of create that sense of expectation. Even the Lego movie did not make $1 billion, but the Lego, I mean, they made good money though. So, Lenny, I love when Danny Boy is with us, truly. Well, and I love when you're with us, truly, in the chat, Lenny. It is great to see you in the chat. And I am a bit sensitive, I will say that. Sensitive around certain subject matters, that's what it is. But Buster Barnes saying we might get castings like Sergeant Rock and they delve into GI robot backstories. That would be interesting. It would be interesting. Yeah. Sure, that will be either part of the presentation or those will be part of the Q&A, like they're going to get asked. So yeah, and then Miraculous saying, I got the impression for some reason that Creature Commander is going to be very episodic, featuring an episode on each character's backstory and tying it to the plot in the present. Okay, I like that idea. Oh,
it's gonna be some experimental animation. Apparently, that's the vibe I'm getting. No, Lenny. We prefer you don't behave. It's more fun. It makes these more dramatic. But it's. I get the vibe. It's like more experimental. It's more like, it's more out there, and I like that. Like if you have animation, like a lot of the time really fucking go into, if you have like a story to tell and you want to go crazy with it, go crazy with it, because that's the beauty about animation. It does things that live action cannot do. So I would say fucking go for it. I would say absolutely do that, because that's way more fun. And animation's like a very visual, it's a great medium. So like I would say really showcase that animation, even if there wasn't a ton of money going into it. I'm happy that, you know, just I can imagine Buster just Gunn, give me answers. I need answer. I don't need sleep. I need answers. Just like Buster, like it's just like his like entire threads or Instagram. It's just like, hey, James Gunn, hey James Gunn, hey James Gunn, dynamic duo, like just pages of just Buster Rhymes being like, is dynamic duo DCU. I don't think it's DCU if I were to guess, but
Yeah,
obviously we'll see.
Like, James Gunn, why aren't you answering my phone calls? Next voicemail. I'm not gonna stop calling till you answer me, Gunn.
I'm your number one fan.
Hi, James. Like that SpongeBob one. Like, hi, Kevin. Like that's
Kevin, I'm your biggest fan, Kevin.
But okay, I will say though, when that news broke, by the way, Buster, there was a very specific mention in there that this was not going to be connected to the DCU. It's going to be like an elsewhere story. So I do believe that was addressed right when that story came out. So I don't believe that it's going to be a part of that. I mean, it could change. Sure, it could change. Like there could be something different happening.
I mean, you know how Arkham was originally the Batman, and then it became DCU, and then it got canceled. So, like, you know.
Well, apparently, according to Matt
or
Reeves,
allegedly, it's not.
It's not quite canceled yet. It's kind of turning into. Buster Barnes, like, then why won't Gunn answer me? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man.
I don't know,
He's a busy
man.
Yes, but Buster, like you said, I think it was addressed, but then the report changed to just say it wasn't Reeves' verse. You know, like you said, like there's always a chance that it could change. Like they could change their mind once they get to a point where, like, you know what, the story could work in the new DCU. We don't have anything that's contradictory. Let's do it. So, but what I do like is that they're gonna have like this, like Lenny was saying, this mocap animation combined with like a little bit of puppetry sort of style animation. It's gonna be interesting because the visual style of that movie is going to be very unique. We don't see a lot of animated movies that are built like that. And Lucario Trainer, adding to it, they said Dynamic Duo is not part of the Reeves verse, but they didn't mention it's not being part of the DCU. So yeah, I mean, like you guys said, there was an article, it was edited to kind of like basically take out any mention of whether it's part of the DCU or not. But I mean, John, like, do you really think they're gonna make that a part of the DCU? Because then that means this Batman has already gone through the 2 Robins, and of course we're on to the 3rd Robin, and you could potentially have 3 Robins running around at one time.
I hope so. That would be great.
I'm like, do you think they're gonna have like? There's a lot of characters in this world already. Like starting out, like, do you feel like they're putting the cart before the horse if they're going in that direction? Especially because they're also writing a Teen Titans script. I mean, how does that like? It's just I would be worried that at that point. I mean, we don't have any details of a Batman Brave and the Bold yet. And yet we're getting all these other projects. Like, I'd be worried about like what comes first. You know, like I'm sure they have a plan, but it would be concerning to me like how many side characters they're introducing before we even get to the main Batman of this universe.
Right.
So, O'Shea in the chat, by the way, so, giving some good advice to Buster, saying that you should probably message him on Threads. That seems to be where a lot of people get their questions answered from James Gunn. He did a Q&A recently on Threads, so I mean that's a good place to check in. You just send James Gunn a message on Threads. I'm sure he will answer. And yeah, they will probably have ex-Robins in Brave and the Bold, but I mean whether they'll have both Jason Todd and Dick Grayson in there, like that's a question worth asking, I suppose, because I'm also wondering just how much Robbins will figure into the future of the Batman franchise with Matt Reeves, because those, you know, it's been hinted that, I mean, Vic could be on the path to becoming a Jason Todd-esque Robin. There's also been rumors since the first movie came out that they might have a Robin in the second movie, like the kid at the very beginning of the Batman, whose dad, the mayor, gets killed. Like that to me was like, oh, like that right there could be a character that could be, a character that becomes Robin, especially because then Batman saves him towards the end of the movie. He saves him at the funeral. I'm like, the makings of this relationship are already there. So we could go from having no Robins to having like half a dozen Robins in a matter of like 3 years. That would be insane. The O'Shea saying, I also hope James gives us more updates on the rest of the DCU at New York Comic Con. John, that's a good question. Let me bring that up on screen from O'Shea. Do you think, now that New York Comic Con is here, James Gunn may not be in New York yet, but he will be in a couple of days because he's going to present on Saturday. Do you think that he's bringing more with him than just the new trailer for Krypto Commandos and all the questions that he's going to answer about the show, and of course the cast of the show? Do you think we're getting other news about the DCU at New York Comic Con?
I think so. I think we're going to get a couple announcements about Superman and maybe Supergirl, probably less so Lanterns, because we've got a lot of stuff on Lanterns. So if I were to guess, we might get some like movie stuff to get some more people hyped, but nothing. I don't think anything like major. Because I mean, literally, a day before like this whole thing starts, he posted like 2 days before Krypto. We got a huge Krypto thing. So I think we might be getting some stuff, maybe like Supergirl, maybe some other movies that have not been, haven't gotten an announcement in a while. So I think I think we might get something along those lines, if I were to guess.
Yeah, I would. I don't know if you're gonna get a whole slate announcement. I don't think we're getting that. That's I would be surprised if you get that scale of an announcement that is not previous. Because the thing is, it's one thing for Marvel to be like, okay, we're gonna announce a bunch of things and then announce like a ton more than people expected. It's completely another if James Gunn says we were just talking about Krypto Commandos, but then he drops like a whole new slate of movies. I don't think they would want to do that without marketing it ahead of time so people are expecting that news. And of course, we've got a nice trickle of information coming down over the last few months, but including stuff that James Gunn has confirmed himself and stuff that is still, he hasn't addressed, but, a lot of insiders have reported on. But I doubt that we're going to go from that to all of a sudden getting a whole new slate announcement. He might be asked a few questions and then he might answer some things that will be informational. Like, okay, people are going to ask him about where is Brave and the Bold. And he might say, okay, we're working on this in development. He might give us an idea of maybe what the next movie beyond Supergirl is in terms of release date, but I don't think we're going to get a whole new slate announcement. That's something that will probably advertise before they actually make the announcement. And of course, there's still CCXP in Brazil later this year, and then there's going to be more Comic-Cons next year. Like I feel like when they come into the San Diego Comic-Con next year, that's their next big one. Like that's the one where James Gunn is not going to be shooting anything like Peacemaker or Superman, so he can go out there and he can really put up a big presentation. And I know that's a long time from now, but I mean, Superman's going to be here before you know it, and then Comic-Con happens like really not that long after that. So it's going to be here before we know it. Lenny's saying that's impossible. Wick is not going to be a Robin. They will miss a big opportunity for Dick Grayson in the Reeveverse. I mean, but if they have a Dick Grayson in the DCU, do they really need one in the Reeveverse? Like, that's what I like. You don't need it in both places, but I see what you mean. Yeah. Casey asking for other characters like Green Arrow, Flash, Robin, Constantine, Nightwing, Birds of Prey, Superboy, the animated series. These would be great, but guys, we're still at the very beginning of this universe. Like I know like time moves faster or slower. I don't know. Like things move really quickly for us because we are constantly talking about this 5 days a week, but they've only announced like the new DCU like less than 2 years ago still, and the first movie hasn't come out yet. So they've still got like half a dozen projects that they announced which we don't currently have release dates for. So we have to be a little patient because Warner Brothers has to, from a business standpoint, DC Studios from a business standpoint has to first prove that they can make what they've already got in the pipeline work, including Lanterns. And then they'll be able to build on top of that. You don't just get a green light for everything all at once. Unfortunately, that's not how business decisions are made. Even the MCU in the early days until the first Avengers came out, they weren't really sure where they were going to go. And then the first Avengers made like $1 billion. They were like, okay, now we kind of like open the floodgates, and then we got all these other characters as well. So I think that's kind of the direction we're going in, where they're launching with Superman. They've got a Batman project announced. We will hopefully, you know what, the one thing, speaking of which, that I hope to get an answer or some news on soon is Paradise Lost, because that is, to me, like one of the most high profile potentially like projects in the DCU that we haven't heard anything about since that announcement. And of course we've got a video game, but I don't know if that's tying into the story of the DCU at all, the Wonder Woman video game. So like, John, that would be, if there's one thing I'm looking forward to as a surprise at the New York Comic Con presentation on Saturday, is that we get some news or some kind of like tidbit about Paradise Lost and where that stands right now, because that would be something where they're not doing a whole slate announcement, but it is a piece of news that everybody's going to be talking about. And it could be something as simple as, we've got some scripts, we're working on it, and hopefully we'll get it greenlit next year. Like, even if it's that, I would love that. Like, to me, Paradise Lost is something I was very excited about when they first, started talking about it in the slate reveal. But yeah, I mean, my expectations for other than that are not really that big. We're gonna get a trailer. We're gonna get some Q&A. I can't wait to see Frank Grillo like tiptoe around, giving spoilers away, because DC is gonna slap him with a big ass fine. I want to see Steve Agee. I want to see the rest of the cast members. I think one of the big questions they're gonna get asked, and you let me know, John, what do you think about this, is which of these other Creature Commandos characters are gonna show up in live action in a future project. Because that's, to me, is like, would be exciting to see some of these characters like be realized in live action, because these actors aren't just voice actors, they're all like screen actors that they brought in, so they're meant to be playing them live action. Which of these characters do you think, or would you want to see in live action from Creature Commandos, other than the ones because we already know some of them are going to be in live action?
Yeah, like obviously the stuff that we've already seen in live action, like John Economos and Amanda Waller and Frank Grillo. Rick Flag Sr. Personally, I think David Harbour's Frankenstein makes sense. The Bride makes sense. I mean, Alan Tudyk does have apparently a role in the Superman movie, so maybe he appears as Dr. Phosphorus there. Those are my guesses in terms of like recent, like future type of thing. That just makes them, I don't know why, just like those make the most sense to me, because it feels like with how they're animated, it feels like that they would make the best translation to live action. So yeah, I think those three make the most sense.
Yeah, I would love to see Frankenstein in live action. That would be fantastic. Dr. Phosphorus, Casey's saying, will probably be in Brave and the Bold. That would be interesting. That would be.
And we've already seen Weasel in live action. That was another one.
Yeah. Oh, John, you just sent me something. Okay, 180. I think we have what you were talking about. I'm gonna see if I can get that on screen for us. John, what do you think about Dr. Phosphorus? Is that a character? How would that fit into Brave and the Bold? Would you?
I don't think. I mean, I think Dr. Phosphorus is like a low level, like villain to. He might be a low level Batman villain. I thought he was a low level Superman villain. Maybe I'm thinking of Atomic Skull. They're kind of similar. So, yeah, he's okay. So he's primarily an enemy of Batman. So it's entirely possible he appears in Brave and the Bold, like maybe like a smaller sort of character. Like sort of like a smaller, blink and you'll miss a cameo, maybe like a cold open kind of character or a post credit scene kind of character. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna be, getting anything major with Dr. Phosphorus soon, like in Brave and the Bold. I mean, it's a good theory, but I don't think we're gonna get anything huge in regret. Yeah, if the Sergeant Roger project is true, I think GI Robot would make sense, and that would be relatively easy because Sean Gunn would just be in a mocap suit. So yeah, I think that could be fun.
Yeah, Buster Barnes, but probably the best comment so far. Who is going to be playing Kite Man? I would love to see that. That would be interesting.
I would love to see Mark Normand. That would be amazing. I don't know why. Just like I thought of that during one of our Kite Man reviews, and I'm like, now I want to see that so badly. It doesn't make any sense. I just think it would be funny.
Yeah.
So
And I agree with you, Miraculous, by the way. I think for them to develop it at the scale of Game of Thrones, Paradise Lost will take some time. So it makes sense that it's not something that we have gotten a ton of news about yet, because they're probably still in the early phases of developing the show. But John, we have on screen now what Hunter G was talking about earlier. I'm sure you read through it already. What do you think about what Zack Snyder, the conversation that Frank Miller and Zack Snyder were talking about, like the idea of, well, Batman can't shoot a gun, and you're like, well, what should he do in this scenario? The idea of, I guess it's justifiable that he uses a gun in certain situations. Like, that's essentially Zack Snyder's take on this.
it's two idiots fighting for King Idiot. Like, that's all I see from this. It's like, why can't I do the thing with this character? It's like, I don't know, maybe just make your own fucking character then. How about that? Like, oh, I can't have Batman shoot a gun, then make a character that can fucking shoot a gun. How about that? There's 80 years of canon of him doing various shit. So like, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it and make your own fucking character. All right? It's simple as that. Like, I don't get like this, like, oh, I gotta like hold true to like there's a reason there is over 80 years of canon shit to choose from. And it's just like, if you want to make Batman shoot a gun, okay, fine. Maybe like Golden Age. Make it a Golden Age thing. Because Batman shot a gun a few times in the Golden Age. So it's like, all right, fine. It's just I don't get this like need to like not follow shit. Like, there's source material. It's there for the taking. You fucking use it. If you don't want to use it, fucking go out and make your own. I don't get, like, fine, you couldn't. I that's literally what he did with Rebel Moon. He's like, okay, I tried to make this Star Wars movie. They didn't want it, so I made my own Star Wars. It sucked, but hey, at least it's your own thing. So like, just fucking go out, make your own shit. I don't get this need to always have an IP. Go out, fucking make your own. Oh my God, it's not that fucking big of a deal. Like, Frank Miller has been like in the shitter since the 90s. Zack Snyder has been in the shitter since, like, I want Batman to get raped in prison or whatever the fuck he said. So it's just like, it's just tiring at this point, and I just kind of don't really want to talk about it anymore. Both of them are fucking assholes and lame at this point. I just, like, I'm sick of it. They're not asshole. Well, Frank Miller's an asshole, but like, I'm just sick of it. Like, I just want to move on. Like, I don't want to think about this dude. Like, people keep making me think about this dude. I don't want to fucking think about this guy anymore. We're getting a new universe. I don't want to see his movies anymore. I don't want to see his face anymore. I don't want to see whatever bullshit he spews on, like, that makes like a fucking variety art. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I just want to move on. Like, I'm done with this guy. I didn't really like his movies pre DCU. I don't like him now. So it's just like, he made Watchmen was great. I heard 300 was great. His Dawn of the Dead sucked. I just want to move on. That's all. I'll make a joke from time to time, but I just want to move on.
Fair. Completely fair. Well, let's, you know what, then let us move on. We have to talk about your comments, guys, from yesterday's show. We got a ton of comments in that video, so we wanted to kind of go through it. We were talking about, of course, the Penguin, and we were talking about, of course, Krypto and Superman. So here's the first comment, John. What are your thoughts on the comment from Magical Sky Wizard, who I believe was in the show, in the chat earlier? I don't know if you're still watching, Magical Sky Wizard. Choking, but all right, I'm back. So you said that, is it just me, or does the Penguin have some of the quietest Italians ever recorded? I mean, John, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, as someone who is half Italian American, they're not as loud as they should be. Not gonna lie. So, yeah.
These Italians are almost not. They're not like, from fresh, from Italy and Sicily Italians. They're like Italians who have been, work, in the mob in Gotham for probably generations. So it makes sense. But it's a good thing to point out. I agree that are they the quietest Italians? I mean, yeah, they're not exactly, like first generation immigrant Italian. Like that's, or like, you know, from New York. They're from New Jersey. They're from Gotham City. But I don't know. It's a good observation though. I noticed that first off. I was like, huh, that is true. And then of course you've got on the other end the other family with the Iranian mob essentially, or is it
Mhm.
the Persian mob, right? Like, yeah,
I
that's
think that's
interesting.
what it was.
Yeah, I want to see more of that. But another comment, Steven Anderson. Steven loves to, you know, check in on every video, and he leaves a ton of great comments. And of course, as always, he had a really cool question for you, John. I think because he said, "I'm almost wondering if Sophia Falcone is the main antagonist for the Batman 2. It's stupid thinking, but I think at most she may be set up as she may help set up the Court of the Owls."
I don't think so. I don't think she'll set up Court of Owls. That just seems she's not that she like if she doesn't want to be part of an organized family like the Falcones, which is more personal revenge, but at the same time, I think she's a lone wolf. She's just like kind of doing her own thing, chilling in her own thing, being in that sexy yellow green dress, barefoot, as Angelina was saying yesterday. For some reason, she's crazy now. We got to make her barefoot. So, or was it Liz? Was it Bridget? I don't remember. I don't know who was talking about it.
Yeah,
It might have been Liz, but I don't think they're gonna set. I think they will do Court of Owls at some point. I don't think she would help set that up or be a part of it. Um, I think there was the better theory of like Oz Cobb. There is a guy named William Cobb, and the Penguins helps that sets that up. I think that would make more sense. Like, oh, you're a legacy, Oz. We have such sights to show you. Like, and that's how the Penguin ends. But that yeah, Sophia is vengeance, quite literally. She is
literally.
she's like the virgin Batman versus the Chad Sophia. Who's the real vengeance? It's Sophia. So I think honestly, I mean, can you really blame me? Like Kristen Milioti in that dress, even you got to admit, like, goddamn. But I think I don't think they're gonna set up Court of Owls with her. And I don't think she would be the main villain either. I don't think she's like, and obviously we still have 4 episodes of stuff to
Yeah.
like, so that could change. That could be
I
like,
mean, if
obviously
first
we
yeah, he
have
did the
the
yeah.
evidence here. Maybe Steven will call it and be like, it'll set up Court of Owls and she'll be the main villain. For right now, I don't believe it yet because I feel like she's smaller, lone wolf. She kind of just wants to do her own thing. She's just about like vengeance, and she's about revenge. She doesn't want to like do this whole shebang. She's just like she has her own goals. We just don't know everything yet. Obviously, with the cliffhanger for season 4,
Yeah.
episode 4.
And then in the comments from yesterday's video, or maybe even a couple of days ago, one of you guys mentioned that you'd love to see Sophia like meet up with her stepsister, right? Like, is it with
Yeah,
Catwoman?
Lenny just posted it. Yeah, I think they will
Yeah,
do a Catwoman show, and Sophia will flee due to her life to Bloodhaven, and that's the showdown with Selena Kyle. That would be awesome. I would love to see that. Um, I don't know. I don't know the first person that mentioned the Catwoman X
I
Sophia
think the Watcher was also.
idea. It might have been Lenny. I think it might have been Lenny, but it might have been somebody else. I will try to give credit where credit is due. I don't know who the first person. I mean, I'm sure you can like go back, like comb through the comments, the first person to mention it. But
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome. Whether it's team up or Sophia v Catwoman, Dawn of Vengeance, whatever it is, I would be here for it. I think that would be a great inclusion to the universe, most definitely. To the Becks.
The Bex. I love how Miraculous is like Sophia's little skip she kept doing after gassing the whole mansion made me fall in love. All right, Miraculous. Uh, I'm sure that she has lots of great qualities you can lean into. She did save the girl, like that's true. I mean, I wonder where that's gonna go. Is that like she's
Mm.
take care of the girl? Is that what happened? I mean, like, how does that exactly work? Fiona's back in the chat. Hello, Fiona. And of course Lenny's still around, so there we go. It was oh no, Lenny thing. It wasn't her that brought it up, but I do remember the
Okay.
watch.
But I remember so many people bringing that up because then everyone's like, "Oh, that's a great idea," and then it might have been Watcher. The Watcher sounds like a good theory. Again, I want to give credit because I don't want to make sure I'm jipping anybody. So, I just want to make sure everyone's cool with their credit and all that stuff. I'm not.
Yes.
What do you think I am, Amy Schumer? I credit for the things I steal. No, I'm just kidding. But well, yes, she does steal jokes, but that's beside the point. I give credit. I like to give credit where credit is due, no matter what. So that's how it is.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, miraculous. Hey, you know what? You do you, man. Nobody's judging. This is a safe space, as somebody pointed out in the chat yesterday. While we had somebody who was like a huge hater of the new Superman movie, just like arguing with everybody in the chat. That was hilarious.
Hack.
Yeah, it wasn't him. It was
No, it
somebody
wasn't
else.
him. No, I just like it.
Yeah, but Ron is in the chat. Hello, Ron. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, fan comments. Thank you, Fiona, for getting us back on track. Let's talk about. We have 5 comments today, so we are just getting halfway through this now, John. So this is the comment now about Superman and Krypto, of course. So that was the big story yesterday. It is the big story today. And Miraculous, who's in the chat, of course, he mentioned that image of Krypto and Superman side by side warms my heart. A man and his dog can't get much more wholesome than that. I know Gunn was inspired by his own dog to include Krypto, but fun fact, Krypto in the 90s Superboy comics was drawn almost exactly like this too. That is a great point, and that's exactly what James Gunn said. And he addressed the fact that historically, he's been pretty much like a generic white dog, and it could be many different species.
It could be anybody.
Exactly. Like it just, it doesn't have to be, a Labrador or like, a particular species. And yeah, I think it's just great seeing that we're going to get Krypto. Just the fact we're going to get Krypto is amazing. And yeah, James Gunn did address that today. So I'm glad that Miraculous, you picked up on it. And then of course in the comics, Krypto has taken many shapes and forms, and the one we're going to get now is going to be an alien dog. He doesn't even have to be a species recognized. He's an alien. I don't know what they call dogs on Krypton. Do they even call them dogs? They might have a different name for them, so who knows? But John, we do have a couple of more comments, so let's keep going. But thanks again for Miraculous for that great comment. Jake Hells, you were in the chat, I believe, as well, or I don't know if you're still watching, but this is the comment that I mentioned to you earlier we were going to get into, and you mentioned on yesterday's show that theory is that this dog comes to Earth with Kara years after Clark, of course. Krypto and Supergirl are both trying to get used to having powers on Earth, which is why we will see very little of Kara and a Krypto being trained by Mr. Terrific. Then either in a direct tie-in to the Women of Tomorrow or an end credit scene, we will see Krypto travel with Kara on her 21st birthday for the space drama Women of Tomorrow. John, what do you think about this theory? I think that's a pretty...
That's definitely an interesting theory. Like, I don't know, I just like the idea, like, Clark Kal-El was given the dog over Supergirl, but it makes sense, like, if Kara did get it, then that could also make sense. I don't know. I like both ideas. Like, whatever they do, I have almost complete trust in Gunn at this point. Whatever they do, whatever. No, he will not. He said, he confirmed. I don't know if this is a joke or not, but if you are serious, no, he's not going to talk.
No, I think JB just talk unless you did talk about it. Yes. So, he will bark and talk. But John, going back to the theory again, like, what do you think this means? We're gonna get Kara in more than just a one scene? Like, do you think she's gonna be a bigger part of the movie? Because of course, if Krypto is her dog, then like, how does that exactly work? And I'm still wondering, like, how does do you think Mr. Terrific was really throwing treats to Krypto, or do you think it could have been just another dog? I imagine there'll be more than just one dog in this movie, so it doesn't have to be Krypto. That's a good theory, though. I like the theory from Jay. It would be very interesting to see how much of that they'll show, or if they're just going to talk about it. Are we going to get a flashback of Kara and Krypto actually arriving? Casey asking what happened to Frank Miller. John, it's a sensitive topic for John. We're not going to touch upon that. But Lenny asking a good question here, which kind of ties into the theory from Jay Kells. John, what do you think about the idea of post-credit scenes? Because in the MCU, they used to serve a good purpose of, like, kind of giving us a look ahead. Like, remember in Captain America Civil War, we got a post-credit scene that kind of gave us a preview of Black Panther, for example. Then Black Panther comes out and we kind of follow up on that. And then at the end of Black Panther, we get a preview of maybe a little bit of like where Winter Soldier was going to be with a new metal arm for the first Avengers, like Infinity Wars movie. So, but now we're getting like these scenes in Marvel which don't lead to anything. Like at the end of the Eternals, like whatever happened to the Harry Styles being in the MCU, or like at the end of your favorite Thor movie, Thor: Love and Thunder, like whatever is going to happen with Hercules. Do you think that DC should go down a similar path? I mean, they did try to do that in the DCEU, but obviously they set up Superman versus Black Adam. That's not going to happen. So they got burned. I mean, do you think James Gunn is going to lean into that? Because he did have post-credit
I feel
sequences.
like it's just a thing now to have post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
Like it's just now like a part of the culture in a movie. Like unless you have like a super serious like drama, like an action, like fucking The Fall Guy had like a mid-credit scene, and that was yeah, I don't think I think that's a weird theory to have. No offense. I don't think I think we just get a cute scene with him like trying to control Krypto during the set piece. I don't think we're gonna, have him, actually be training him. That would be, I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't make I feel like that wouldn't make sense.
Okay, so if there's a post-credit scene in the Superman movie, what do you think it most likely is? Is it setting up Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, or is it something else?
I think I could see them setting up Woman of Tomorrow. I wouldn't want an end credit scene, a mid credit scene, because I don't feel like sitting through the entire credits. Like I gotta pee, maybe I gotta fucking get home.
I mean, James Gunn in the second Guardians of the Galaxy, your favorite one of the three, had like 3 post-credit scenes, right? Like it just kept going. Like the credit sequence was like a movie by itself. So yeah, I mean, he's got a track record of doing it, so it's possible. Miraculous saying again, because in the chat you guys are talking about again if Krypto is going to be talking or not in the movie, and Miraculous pointing out he doesn't talk in the comics. Pretty sure they'll take their key from the source material over the cartoons, and I agree. I think it would be good to have this universe is gonna be a little more of a heightened world than the Matt Reeves Batman universe, the DCU that is, but you still got to ground it in some ways. You can't just have like talking dogs running around. Then all of a sudden we're really gone into the strange and spectacular right from the get-go. Maybe one day. Buster Barnes saying end credit scenes are useful in my opinion to help give teasers to set up future projects. I agree with you 100%, but I don't think filmmakers should feel like they have to do one. Like if you feel like it's going to set up something else that is already in the works and that it's not going to feel like empty calories or like a deleted scene that you stuck at the end of the movie, if it has a purpose, like if it has a purpose, put it in there. And then if you know for sure that you're going to follow up on it, put it in there. Because the worst thing for fans is when, they have a post-credit scene, but then that post-credit scene leads to nothing, right? Like I just gave like 2 or 3 examples.
Kind of like Sinestro at the end of Green Lantern, where he puts on the yellow power ring and it's just like, well, that's not going to be anything now. Don't sequel bait. Don't like totally sequel bait. Like maybe have something that like can work. For, like, I would say if you want to have a post-credit scene, have it like at the end of Superman, tease it for Supergirl, because that's definitely happening. That's going to be filming when they're going to be doing the marketing for this movie. So that's how you should do it. Like, because I feel like that's what's going to happen. They're like going to be doing press and marketing and like advertising for one movie while another movie is filming. So I think set up the thing that is currently filming, because unless WB just goes full ham with the canceled movies like they did beforehand with Coyote versus Acme and Batgirl and the Scooby-Doo Krypto crossover before they're like, no, we didn't cancel it, and like totally backpedaled. But unless they're doing that, I don't think they're going to do that. But if I would say do that, like set up the thing that's being filmed so we have an actual continuation, an actual like tease that will be confirmed. It will have an actual point to overall everything. So I don't know. I think if it's as you said, if it's necessary and it sets up the thing that they're currently filming, that makes sense. Whether it's a TV show or a movie, whatever it is, if it sets up something that they, because it's just like, don't set up for like, oh yeah, the question, even though that's not confirmed. So like that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I would say don't do that.
JB giving you a nice pointer. I do remember this. I don't know if this upset is still
I
around.
never, you know what, you want to know what I do? I go to a movie early in the day. Like I try to go to a matinee plus cheap ticket prices, and I just don't drink anything until after the movie. Like I don't bring a water with me. I don't get a slushie. I don't do any of that shit because I have a weak bladder. I know myself, and I'm gonna go to the bathroom if I drink anything. So I'm not.
Yeah, I think John just froze up there, but it's an interesting freeze frame. Buster Barnes with a good idea though. It's Krypton time. Oh no, sounds.
I just don't drink anything at all.
I don't know who's freezing up, if it's me or you, John, but somebody's freezing up. Oh, there goes John. I think we have answered that question.
Yeah, sorry. So when did I get cut off? Sorry, my Wi-Fi is acting a little wonky.
You were on your rant about not drinking while you were watching a movie.
Yeah, so I try not to drink before a movie or during a movie because I know what will happen. And my dad, if I go with my dad or my mom and they're like, "Hey, do you want anything?" I'm always like, "No, I never drink anything." One of the few times I did, the last time I did was when I went to go see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I thought, and I was very pissed at this, I thought they were going to bring back what was it? The Ecto Cooler in slushy form. Like, got really excited. I'm like, okay, I gotta get the slushy, and it just turned out to be green apple. I was so pissed because I love Ecto Cooler. They brought that back for the shitty remake. They brought it back like as like a fan thing for Afterlife. Got fucking cowards. Bring back Ecto Cooler. Okay, that shit is the fucking bomb. All right, come on now, guys. What is this? You're planning a franchise now with Ghostbusters. You're getting like you want to plan a trilogy. You're planning an animated series. Give us Ecto Cooler. I cannot tell you how many cases of that I bought in college. I'm not seeing this garbage remake, but I will buy. I must have bought like 3 to 4 to 5 cases of that. It was so fucking good. I was so fucking pissed that they fucking discontinued that. It's like, guys, come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I know I can make it at home, but that's not the point. The point, I want it either in the cardboard boxes or in the cans. I don't care. Give us Ecto Cooler. Give us Ecto Cooler. We all collectively want Ecto Cooler. Like, why are you being so fucking cowards about this? What is wrong with you? Come on. No, it was like orange and tangerine, but it was it was green. It was great.
I mean, Casey's saying maybe they can do intermissions and then you just take 4 hours to watch a 3-hour movie. That could be something you could do too.
I'm okay.
But also, I would love to. What are you guys? Who said this? Miraculous saying like, it would be nice to see a Constantine post-credit scene in Swamp Thing. That'd be great. Only if they actually do the Constantine movie.
Yes, if they actually confirm, like, it depends if it's Keanu or not, or Dan Stevens, because that's the only Constantine I want. Yes, the Ninja Turtle pies. I've never had one. Obviously, they discontinued before I fucking existed. So bring back Ninja Turtle pies. They look disgusting, but I would totally eat those. I would probably have massive diarrhea, but like, you know what? I would still eat one of those things.
Yeah,
great stuff. Like the only time but I think it was Doug Walker that said the only time fresh from the sewer to you sounded appetizing.
I can't believe that was like part of the marketing.
Yeah. Oh, come on. What? You don't like Dan Stevens? I love Dan Stevens. He's my boy. I love Dan Stevens. Who would you want for Constantine? Since, you know what? You're from the British Isles. You have more experience than we do. Who would you want as Constantine, Lenny? I'm curious. I'm not being mean or anything. I'm genuinely curious. Who would you love to have as Constantine? Because that would be, I'm really curious now. Yes, I remember having the SpongeBob popsicles. I tried to eat the gumballs, but I never. I guess I had like a little tiny baby teeth, and it was like too hard to eat. And then they like tasted like shit. They had like flavor for like 1 second, and then nothing. I like the popsicle. I remember the Spider-Man popsicles. Get Matt Ryan out of here. He was ruined. The Arrowverse ruined Matt Ryan. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. That would be funny. And then they get shrunk and it turns into like a thong. That would be funny. I would like that.
That would be not just funny, but that would be perfect in lieu of all the bulge talk that happened earlier.
There's the shot right there. Now I'll zoom into this. That
Okay, we don't need to see
right there
bulge, but
I'm just like, I don't know. Do we need that? Like, because it's sort of like, what function does it serve other than to highlight the fact that Superman's got some padding there potentially to make this?
I mean,
movie a little.
I hate to break it to you, but every man on planet Earth has a dick and balls. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to hide that. Like, obviously, like in camera, they're gonna probably do some like cropping out. They're gonna like smooth it down a little bit so we don't see David Corn Sweat's schwanz in our fucking faces all the time. But I'm sorry, it's just like, it's like a woman who has really big breasts, and it's like, she's like, I can't put them anywhere. What do you want me to do? So it's like, it makes sense. Like, if it's like he has a big package, like, I don't know what to really say about that. Also, that's an interesting, maybe some, okay, like, so you want like more of like an unknown or nobody. I could kind of see that. That's an interesting sort of thing. Okay, I mean, obviously, I don't watch Coronation Street or Emmerdale or anything like that. But yeah, boom, can't get me. But that would be an interesting thing, Lenny. I again, you're so I wouldn't mind an unknown for Constantine as long as they're, you know, good. I'm like, you can find a YouTuber that did like a 5-hour documentary on like one thing. Like they did like a 5-hour documentary on fucking Ecto Cooler. I'm sure you could find that somewhere. I mean, who is it? Quentin Reviews. He does that kind of thing sometimes. Gamer from Mars does that. Yeah, I know a couple people. Johan. Who's Johan? Don't mess with the Johan. Yeah, thank you, Fiona.
Yep. The Casey's like, I want to see the schwanz. I don't even know if that's how you spell it. Like, what is the schwanz?
Schwanz.
The schwanz? Is that how you
that's like, I don't know. I think it was like, I think I got it from like Ryan Gosling in Crazy Stupid Love. He's like, are you bothered by my schwanz in your face? And then Steve Carell passes out on his dick. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we have gone off track. Casey wants Cameron Monaghan as a DCU Joker. I don't know, man. I don't think they're gonna bring that in.
No,
Buster Barnes trying to get us back on track here with oh, actually, no. I read the whole comment. He's not trying to get us back on track. Oh, well, somewhat.
Nobody is.
It'll be funny though. Stephen Amell Jabroni. That'd be great. That'd be great. I would love that. I have no idea what is being said right now. Sorry, Lenny. Yeah, we have why is Johan? Why is Johan? I don't know. It's a good question.
Why is Gamora? That was an ad lib, by the way. I didn't realize that was an ad lib. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd love to see that, Buster.
That's right, Lenny. That's right. Yeah. I don't know if you can whisper in the chat. I don't know if there's a way to whisper in the chat. You
could like post something and then quickly delete it.
You know, the internet remembers, and I've got admin, privileges on the YouTube studio, so I can see.
No, anyway. Don't do anything to Lenny. She doesn't deserve it. She's like, she's one of the best regulars we have. She's amazing. Don't do anything, Dad.
I won't. Okay, but you know what? Following up on the last comment. So last comment from Jay, in that same thread, Miraculous, you responded because you had a bit of a theory of your own about Krypto, which sort of lines up with what Jay was, but it's a little bit different. And you said that according to Gunn suggested that Krypto is an alien breed of dog, which pretty much confirms he's from Krypton. So like we talked about that today, James Gunn did confirm that. So I agree. I think he'll probably have come to Earth originally with Kara Zor-El, Supergirl. Another theory I like, based on one comic story, is that Krypto was sent as a sort of animal test pilot to Earth prior to Kal-El to test his safety of the journey. Like like Cosmo the dog, like we've seen that in Marvel, or I mean in real life they did this all the time. They did it with monkeys, they did it with dogs, but the Russians did it, the Americans did it, and then Miraculous continues. But I think the Kara explanation is a lot simpler and more concise and works well considering the upcoming Woman of Tomorrow
Yeah.
movie. What do you think, John? Did you think the idea that he was a test pilot?
Yeah, this is the one I was referencing before, like, because that's what it was in the Silver Age. They sent the dog. He's like, okay, this is cool. Like, they sent Krypto, and then it got like caught somewhere, or it didn't fall until after Superman became Superman. And so I think that would be a good explanation. It's just we appreciate you, Lenny. It's just like, I understand, like, I get like what they're going for with the Woman of Tomorrow thing. I get it. I 100% get it. So, but it's just the fact that Superman is here already with the dog. It would feel weird if they already introduced Supergirl in this movie. Like, she's already here. Maybe they don't mention her, but like she's there. Like, I just feel like that's like kind of weird. That would be amazing. I would love Eagly interaction. I would just keep Krypto in check a bit. I don't want, Eagles are already, endangered, and so let's not like kill another one. So, Eagly, let's not kill him off. But anyway, I get what people are saying with the Woman of Tomorrow. It's just like, I don't like the idea of like Krypto was with Kara. They got sent to Earth. They got trapped in whatever Phantom Zone, revolving around the sun, whatever version you want to go with. And then, then Superman crashes down. He grows up. He's who he is, and then they crash down. But it's like and then he has Krypto. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it would be a little bit better to like have it be like it was Clark's. It was the family dog, yes. Like, maybe, Krypto was, Supergirl's, like, was Kara's pet on Krypton. And then, they were just kind of, like, maybe they sent the dog as a test experiment. Maybe they're like, okay, well, Kara, we're gonna give it to Clark because he needs like safety or whatever. So they give it to him in his rocket, and then they launch them off. And then, because I love the idea of like a boy and his dog, like, through the years of him being in Kansas, he wasn't totally alone. Like, he always had Krypto. He was always there, and like he was with him from the beginning. I love that idea. I think that's such a nice, like, yeah. I just feel like it would be nice. It would add into the vibe that James Gunn is going for. Like, and I feel like with the way that he identified, like with the Ozu and his dog, and he's like, I had to put Krypto in there. I would say that's like 15% chance. Less maybe. But I think, and so I feel like James Gunn would like put that in, because I feel like he's identifying with Superman a lot, with like how like his dad passed away while he was writing the script, and there's like a heavy like father son dynamic that he's been teasing for a while.
It's a very personal project for James Gunn. It is, yeah.
Yes. So Lenny, you're referencing the original, the Silver Age version of Supergirl's backstory. So yeah, where she was on Argo City. Argo City was that was like the flying piece of, debris that like got like had its own civilization on it. And then I don't remember if it was destroyed or they just sent her off for like, oh, you need to like, you need to be sent to Earth for whatever reason. And then she met Superman. So that was the original reason. Then in the New 52, they changed it, where it was they were both sent from Krypton, and then she got stuck in the gravity pull of the sun and was revolving around the sun for decades, supercharging her cells, making her stronger than Superman. And then she got out of the gravitational pull and then got sent to Earth, kind of adding into the making her like kind of what the New 52 was, like a darker, edgier kind of thing. And that made her like kind of like a darker, more like kind of angry character. Like she became a Red Lantern at some point. So you could do that. And then in the Supergirl TV series, they had her stuck in the Phantom Zone. So there's like a whole number of things you can do. They might go with the original Silver Age backstory of Argo City. They might just do it from Krypton. Like they were both sent from Krypton. It's just like an easier, thing to do. They were both. Wow. Ouch. Okay. Goddamn. That's savage. Negging, I believe negging, that is what the children call it. That is what the Gen Z call it. That is negging, I believe. But no, I don't think Lenny's interested. That's cool. Authority and Lobo have a cross. That's cool. I don't know if you're saying they have it or they had it. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Supergirl gonna turn into Woomsday and be the chapter? What? What the? That sounds really sexist. Like I don't know what the fuck you're trying to talk about.
I don't know what that character is. We're just gonna skip past that.
Oh, okay. But they're doing the Woman of Tomorrow, which is the same as the Silver Age. Okay, so if it is Silver Age, then they're probably going to be doing Argo City. Okay. Yeah, I know I need to read Woman of Tomorrow. I'm going to read it soon. I'm very busy this month. So I will eventually read it before the movie happens. Yeah, with the New 52 character. Yeah, that makes sense. The Woman of Tomorrow started with the New 52. Okay, so it could be anything. And I wouldn't mind the Argo City one. I wouldn't mind the New 52 one. Both, I think, work with their respective, like, whatever vision they come up with. I don't mind it. So I trust them to do something good. Anna Noguera, I don't know who you are, but I hope you do a good job with writing this. Craig Gillespie, I don't have no problem, Buster. So I think, I think we're gonna be in for some great stuff, whatever they decide to do.
Yeah. And I mean, great theories so far. I mean, James Gunn might even address some of this stuff, like whether it's online on threads or at the Comic-Con panel for Creature Commandos, which is happening in literally 3 or 4 days from now on Saturday. So if you guys are attending New York Comic-Con, be sure to check out the Belle Reve experience there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you can go to the panel, which I believe Liz mentioned. It was like a lottery system. So if you are going to the panel, you should know because you would have already gotten the tickets. But if you don't get a chance to go, then, of course, you can come check us out here. We're going to be talking about all the latest news and updates, any new announcements that were made. We're going to be here on Monday reviewing The Penguin, episode 5. And we're going to be reviewing, of course, everything that happened over the weekend at New York Comic-Con with all the announcements from DC, including, of course, Creature Commandos, James Gunn, the rest of the cast being there. And we're back tomorrow. We're back on Friday with more DCU Daily. As always, it's just been a good, fun week. I like that the news cycle is really starting to pick up, and we're getting more and more news each and every day. Jay Kelly saying in the chat, based on what we have seen, Krypto can't fly at some point in this movie, so that makes me believe that Krypto recently arrived. That's an interesting theory. I don't know. We'd have to dig into those photos from the set because we really didn't get to see much. And I think the dog that we saw on set, Krypto, or if it, I mean, I don't know.
I have okay. Now I have a theory because I forgot about that. You're right. Maybe how okay, you remember the set photos where he's like holding up something, and Krypto is there. Maybe that's the rocket that Krypto came in. That could be something. Also, I don't think they're going to use Cosmo because there's a lot of fucked up shit with Cosmo. So I don't think they're going to do that and bring it into this continuity. Let's just avoid Cosmo. Just get Streaky the cat if they want Supergirl, eventually. That's fine. just don't bring in Cosmo the super horse. Let's not. Yeah, less said about that, the better. Anyway, so that's my theory. Like, if they do introduce it like mid-movie, then maybe something like that. But I would prefer if like he always had Krypto. So, yeah, I will say I like him wearing a cape. It's like a little campy, but like in a good sort of way. I like the cheesy and camp, but in this case, maybe like in order for him to like showcase he's Krypto the super dog, like have him like wear like a red scarf, like, and he has like the super the crest on it. I think that would be cute. I would really like that.
Yeah, maybe like a harness or like a collar with like a S kind of. That'd be neat. Like some kind of a hint that he's, of course, he's Clark's dog. I mean, I don't know if his secret identity is going to be how that's going to play into the story. Superman flying. I mean, flying dog is like kind of hard to miss. But anyway. I would love to see him eventually get the cape, but I like the way they're starting him off. Like the way this image is just so good. Where was the original one? Let me see if I can pull up the one that we saw. This is the one that James Gunn posted, right? It's just perfect. This is great. We have now gotten 3 official looks at Superman. We have gotten this image with Krypto. We of course got, this was the very first thing we got, which was just the logo and then some ice. Maybe it's the Fortress of Solitude when they were first starting to film the movie. We got this when they were filming the movie on sound stages in Atlanta. We still don't know what's in the background. We probably never will because it might not even be in the movie, but we got to see Superman and the suit for the first time. And then of course we now have a look at Krypto, and we've got the cape with the logo on the back. It's based on a comic book, it's a panel straight out of the comics. So I love it. This is fantastic. John, we've been here talking about this for the better part of an hour and a half, and Buster Barnes saying he's gonna have to wear glasses to blend in. Yes, he will. Especially if Krypto wears glasses. Well, if it wears a cape while he's saving the day, then he's gonna have to wear glasses because you got to go to Clark's school of superheroing. So that's exactly how he's not gonna stand out amongst the crowd. Miraculous saying I could see Clark giving him a bath and drying him off with a red towel and tying it around his neck for a chuckle. That would be perfect.
That would be cute.
That would be perfect. And Lenny's already saying goodbye. Lenny, we are not okay. All right. Well, I guess if you're saying goodbye, then we'll have to say.
We have to say goodbye because, what's the point of doing this without Lenny? That's just like, what's the point of DCU Daily? I mean,
yeah. Sorry. Yeah. You know what? That's a good point. Also, John has got dinner waiting for him, and I'm getting hungry myself. So I don't know what.
Yeah.
Guys. So we'd love to, whether it's breakfast time or dinner time or lunch time, just maybe that's what we all got to go do next. And like, we got to have our energy, right? Like you got to have a strong breakfast or dinner to have. And anyway, I was going to go with like, have good bones, and it's not working. It's not working. A lot of bad.
Just stop.
Let's stop before I go any further down that road. Casey said, I love that Clark and Superman for once look like 2 different people. 100%. Those pictures from the set were emblematic of the fact that these 2 characters, like, you wouldn't be able to tell them like that they're the same person at all. Like, Henry Cavill still looked like Henry Cavill when he was at Daily Planet.
He's just a guy with glasses, which I don't mind. I like that. I don't mind that. Like, I know people get uppity about that, but like,
Yeah. Like David Cornsweat's Superman when he's on the street with like the curly, like, the messed up hair and
the Gen Z for real, no cap, skibbity riz, Ohio cut. We got that in there, and
Yeah. JB, and knowing is half the battle. I don't know what that's for, but okay. Ray J showing that he's like, damn, y'all are early today. Yeah, we were. We have to be a little early because we're trying to get to sleep a bit earlier because John and I have both had a lot of late nights with you guys, and it's because like it's not like we're sleeping till noon and waking up and doing shit. I know maybe John is, but John today had stuff going on in the morning, and so did I. So it's been a great show. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll continue the conversation. As always, thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to, I'll see if I can get to all the names. Miraculous JB, RayJ365, KC, Lenny, Miraculous, Buster Barnes, Fiona. Casey, you do sleep till noon, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I do encourage you to do what you do best. Michael K had, of course, more Katna in the chat. We have Ron. We have I don't know if the Watcher was here today, but Lusario.
He wasn't. No, Michael K. All you guys. All you guys. We love each and every one of you.
So many. Hunter Iggy was here. Antonio was here. Of course, we had Jay Kells. We talked about your comments. Thanks for joining us live. Manolo, Ojo, Rabbit Karen, Bun Fun. What a name that is. So all of you guys, if I missed anybody, I apologize. You can let us know in the chat. Thank you for dropping by live. O'Shea was in the chat. We didn't see. If you haven't seen you in a long time, thanks for dropping by and watching this live. So everybody in the chat, thank you again. And Michael, of course, as you said goodbye. Ron, yes, we sometimes have Batman's sleep schedule, but you know, it's hard being Vengeance at night. It takes a toll on you, you know, like eventually you gotta like become Hope. And that's what we were trying to work our way toward. So yes, as Buster Barnes said in the comments, farewell friends, we will see you tomorrow. And sorry, Ray, yeah, we were 3 hours ahead. You all are 3 hours ahead of where I'm at. Oh, okay, Ray J, I got you. Okay, you're on the West Coast. Well, we'll catch you next time. You know, on tomorrow's show, probably later in the evening, our usual time. But until then, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, and you can check us out up with the next show tomorrow for DCU Daily. And if you haven't already, before you head out, hit the like button, and of course hit that subscribe button if you haven't, because that way you'll know when we have new shows going up. We've got DCU Daily tomorrow, Friday, Monday, Tuesday we've got Also Curious, and then we're going to continue on with DCU Daily, the latest news from the world of the DCU, including, of course, we now know officially Krypton, but not Krypton. We know about Krypton.
Crypto. And I pray to God they don't make a cryptocurrency joke. That's just too terrible.
Yeah. It would be very timely though. Okay, but anyway, we've got Krypto in the DCU. He's going to be in Superman, and he's an alien dog who cannot talk but can fly and can breathe in space, because obviously otherwise he wouldn't be sitting with Superman on the moon. So we'll see you tomorrow, another episode of DCU Daily. John, as always, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time.
Hell yeah.